Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Lacey Maloney, and I am a health sanity coach, which means I show women how to get healthy without going crazy. I started my own health journey many years ago when I was just trying to lose a few pounds, gain energy and muscle, and get healthy. I thought the best way to do that was to go on a diet, was to go on a low-calorie and low-fat diet, work out really, really hard, and that this was going to get me healthy. Instead, after over a year of trying to make this work, I just got more and more unhealthy, more and more miserable, and I actually gained weight. And that's when I decided, you know what, diets bite. And that inspired the name of my company now, dietsbite.com, where I do health coaching. Now, I was fortunate to have many mentors help shape my education around health. I started my education at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, where I became a certified holistic health coach. From then, I went on to become a supplement buyer for Whole Foods Market. And I rounded out my education in physical training with their Equinox Academy's Certificate of Personal Training, and that is in Manhattan. I also was fortunate enough to take a holistic nutrition program which taught functional nutrition. And one of my mentors was Dr. Deanna Minnick, who is actually right back here. Yes, I'm mentioning you. And I was fortunate enough to learn from many, many different people. She's actually coming on at 2 o'clock, and I hope you stick around for her talk because I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Now, two of the biggest complaints of my clients are typically, how do I banish my cravings and how do I balance my hormones? When they come to me, a lot of times they've done a lot of their own homework. They've already tried different things. They've read up the latest information in health. They've tried to find a protein bar that would satisfy their cravings. But they're surprised to find that when they come to me, that we have to start with the basics. Now, we start with the basics because, as I say, just because we can look at health through a microscope doesn't mean that we need to. There's a certain place for that level of detail and insight, but for most of us, we just need to get back to the basics. And if you're a parent, even if you're not a parent, you already know what those basics are. Simply because everybody knows that when you look at a child's well-being, you look at how well they're eating, how well they're sleeping, and yes, pooping, right? The basics. Now, let's start with that latter one first, okay? Usually, I get one of two opposing reactions when I say that word. And some people lean in, they're curious, they want to know more. Or the opposite reaction is people inwardly tend to sort of recoil and go, ew, gross, why do we have to talk about that? Really, it's just an important and necessary biological function. And I'm not up here to tell potty jokes, okay? I'm up here to tell you how that simple biological function directly affects your hormones. Now, maybe you're like me, and instead of having human babies, you have fur babies. My two dogs, excuse me, my two children, are definitely my babies. And when we lived in a condo, I would have to bring them outside for their morning business, right? And usually within 5 minutes, they'd be done, right? They'd done their duties and we could go back inside. Except on the days when that didn't happen. And I'd be out there 20 minutes, 30 minutes, walking them. They don't like this tree, maybe this one will be better, right? Half hour, 45 minutes later, nothing. And even if I wasn't a health coach, I would still know what, and I would know who to ask. Honey, what did you feed Cosmo? I told you he can't have cheese. You can't give him all that cheese. Now, maybe you had a similar conversation with your significant other. You know how important this is for their health to have a daily bowel movement at least once a day. And if you have infants, it's once for every meal that they eat. But the same applies to us adults as well. Just because we're a larger human being doesn't mean that you can get away with having fewer bowel movements. It doesn't work like that. But unfortunately, in today's society, most people, 1 to 3 times a week is about normal. But that doesn't mean that it's healthy. Could you imagine if your dog or if your human baby only went to the bathroom 1 or 3 times a week? If 1 day went by, you would be concerned. If 2 days went by, you might be wondering, did they have a cold? Are they sick? What is going on? By the 3rd day, you would be calling the pediatrician, right? Now, how does this relate to your hormones? Well, it's quite simple. If you're backed up, your liver is also going to be backed up. And your liver has to process those hormones, those excess hormones from your body. And if it can't function properly, if it can't do its job properly, those excess hormones are going to remain in your body. And your body stores them as fat. So what can you do about improving your digestion so that you can improve your hormone balance? There's 2 things. First, one that you've likely said to your children, or you remember your parents saying to you, and that is to sit down and chew your food, right? How often are we rushing out the door, grabbing a meal as we're leaving, eating in front of the computer, eating in front of the television, and not focusing on our food and what we're eating? Just by simply chewing your food better makes it so that your body can access those nutrients better, and then your digestive system can more easily break them down. The next one, add in warm lemon water. First thing every morning before you have your coffee. The lemon helps stimulate your digestive system. It helps break down food, and the water helps rehydrate your body, hopefully after 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Although maybe for most people, it's more like 5 to 6 if you're lucky, right? So let's talk about sleep. How important is it to you that your child gets their sleep? It's so important. You will structure your entire day around it, right? Around their nap schedule, around their bedtime. You plan for it. But when it comes to adults, unfortunately, sleep seems to be that one area where we feel like we have to sacrifice. But it's for a good cause, right? There's baskets of laundry to fold. There's lunches to make for the next day. And there's glasses of wine to drink. Let's be honest. But if you went to bed 1 hour earlier, do you know how much more productive your next day would be? Do you know how much easier it would be for you to focus, for you to have more energy, for you to resist those cravings for those sweets and those refined carbohydrates that you know you don't want, but your body is asking for that quick pick-me-up? Just getting an extra hour of sleep a day will greatly improve that. Your body is most productive during sleep, not when you're awake. Yes, you can do a lot of things when you're awake, but your body can do so much more for yourself when you're asleep. Now, maybe you're saying, well, that's great, but I don't sleep that well at night. I wake up, it takes me a long time to fall asleep. Well, are you having issues where the reason why you're having restless sleep is because of melatonin production being suppressed? That is very common in people who are often on electronics, on their laptops, on their cell phones late at night, but also your television. That emits blue light, and the blue light suppresses your melatonin. Now, I inadvertently gave myself insomnia when I was recording videos for my upcoming program, which begins on Monday, the Ditch the Diet Forever program. And if you visit my website, dietspite.com/NWWS, I have a special 20% off coupon for you and a special recap of this talk with extra benefits that I couldn't add into here, given the time. So I gave myself insomnia from using this studio light to record my videos with. And it was so bright, I only used it for an hour, but it completely suppressed my melatonin production. So I laid in bed all night, not able to fall asleep. That is very common. And now maybe you're saying, well, that would be great, except my kids wake me up during the night. Well, do your kids sleep with a night light? Do they have light interfering their quality of sleep? You can buy special night lights called low blue lights. And I have a link that you can get when you go to my website, dietspite.com/NWWS, that I can give to you where you can purchase the low blue lights so that you don't have affected sleep quality. Now maybe you're saying, well, I get my best energy around 10 or 11 o'clock at night, right? That's when I'm most energized and productive, and I can get the most done during the day. Well, unfortunately, it's not just that you're a night owl. It's more likely that your cortisol level is out of balance. Now, cortisol is often thought of as this bad hormone, right? We always hear about it related to stress, and it sounds like it's bad for us. But cortisol, when it's in balance, is very good for us. It actually wakes you up, unless your hormones are out of balance. Just like with any hormone being out of balance, that's not a good thing. So when your hormones are out of balance and your cortisol is high at bedtime, you're gonna be awake at bedtime. It's supposed to be high at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. when you're waking up in the morning to help give you that energy to get out of bed. Now, I go into more detail about cortisol and about helpful ways to get better quality of sleep in my program. But we're going to continue on to the next topic, which is eating. Now, everybody knows the saying that breast is best, right? When it comes to feeding your baby. Breast milk is the best. It can't compete with formula. There's no science lab that can recreate the same product that Mother Nature has created. Mother knows best, and Mother Nature knows best. Now, I'm not saying this to make anyone feel bad if they either chose not to breastfeed or they just weren't able to. I'm certain that every mother out there has made the best choices for their children. But this point illustrates what's going on today, and that people are not eating real food, whole food, the way Mother Nature intended. People are eating food created in labs, created by science. Think about the protein that is in certain protein bars. Luna bars are a good example. It's soy protein isolates. These are parts of food extracted from whole foods, combined together to make some snack food that seems like a good alternative, when in reality, it's not, because it sets your body up for cravings. It makes you want to ask, it makes your body want to ask for more because it didn't get all of the nutrients that it received or that it would have received had it eaten a whole food. So, to recap, we have our digestive, right? Our digestive system. We need to help it function properly so we can get those excess hormones moving out of our body. Chew your food. Simply chewing your food better and paying attention to your meals is going to help. Drink warm lemon water in the morning, first thing, right? Don't jolt your system with that caffeine. Rehydrate it first. Get your digestive system going. And then sleep. Treat your sleep schedule just like you do your children's, right? There's no negotiations. When it's bedtime, it's bedtime. Make sure you get the 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. Make sure that your bedroom is dark and that the lights are not coming in and stimulating your eyes so that you don't have melatonin production and that you're not sleeping well. And finally, eat whole quality foods. Skip those food-like substances and go for the real foods. That is what your body is craving. Now, we have to get back to the basics, and children are some of our best examples of how to do this, because they are, after all, our best teachers. Now, if you'd like more information about my program and about my services, I have a sign-up sheet up here where I can send you directly the information that I gave here in this talk, and there's also a sign-up sheet in the back. Thank you so much.